Hi everyone. We wanted to do a second video for just to go over the follow-up. We went back to the doctor last week and we did get a lot of answers as far as why the miscarriage happened this time. We just kind of went over the fact of, due to my age, I am considered a high-risk pregnancy. And what caused the miscarriage was that the membrane holding the baby was weak, and it was possibly due to an infection. We did find out also the baby was fine. We did get all of our genetic testing back and everything came back negative. I guess just in general, the doctor reassured us. It's a reassuring thing, and then it's not such a reassuring thing that, with any pregnancy, it's a gamble. You don't know what you're dealing with until you are pregnant and just kind of, going through the motions of everything. I had posted a post on Facebook just to get people to ask me questions. I know it's an uncomfortable topic for some people, and I wanted to go over some of the stuff that a couple people have asked me. What we plan on doing in the future. The doctor did advise us that we could proceed trying to have a child again, April, May, so 3-4 months. And he suggested this time, so we don't go through a preterm birth, that we get on, that me specifically, I start taking progesterone when I do get pregnant the next time. Also wanted to go over just a couple things. Obviously the grieving part, that obviously takes time. I keep saying a lot. I think I'm just nervous. What's worked for us so far, what things we've done to try to move forward and try to go through the acceptance part of grieving, because I think both of us are still, like anything, you go back and forth with feeling one way, feeling another way. We started counseling. That's helped. The one thing that I know she mentioned and it kind of stuck to both of us was be your own best friend. That resonates. I was finding myself that I was blaming everything I did, woulda, coulda, shoulda done. And like I said, in my last video, I was, blaming myself, blaming the baby, blaming my body, blaming him, blaming this, blaming that, just on and on and on. So hearing that from our counselor, be your own best friend, just stuck. What would you tell your best friend
when they're putting themselves down or I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, when your friend you hear your friend call you for help in anything, you want to advise them in a positive way. If, they're beating themselves up over whatever situation they might be in, you want to say positive things to them. Hang in there, be strong, all those positive things. And that just kind of resonates. And I keep saying the word resonates because as much as I'm trying to not blame myself, I keep telling myself, be your own best friend. What would you tell your best friend? Or what would you tell your sister? Or what would you tell somebody you really, really care about? That was a huge one. Another thing I think that's helped us both is talking to each other. Talk to your partner. Communication is so important, I think, in just dealing with something so traumatic.
Yeah, I can say that we kind of hit a wall of healing, and it worked out perfect that we had another counseling session that like a day after, where we were kind of getting a little short with each other, and we're frustrated and we're sad. I don't know the words for it, but anyways, we went in and saw the counselor, and she just hit so many things on the head for us, and it made so much sense that you're not gonna have these answers or reiterate. Like, her biggest thing that we took from her was that she said what you would say to your best friend, and it is hard to say anything. We've had some people really step forward, and some of you sent flowers, some of you sent cards, some of you called, some of you texted, some of you Facebooked, and some people couldn't because they'd experienced themselves. It was too soon, or it just hurt too much, and I just found it comforting in any way to understand, to be sympathetic, that I wouldn't know to say what to any of my friends who went through this, except I'm really sorry, I wish this didn't happen to you. And that's the same thing I say to her. It's just dealing with those internal negative roads that it takes you down, that hearing it from the counselor, because that's what they get paid to do, really helps, and know that we're not completely spiraling. And it did. It really brought us closer together. It was, I don't know, like you just hit this line and things just kind of clicked, and you're like, we're going to be all right. It just really sucks right now. And I think I've said that word over and over. It really sucks right now.
Yeah, it does
really
suck.
hurts.
Yeah, it's not always going to be this positive, you know, we're not always going to be positive and happy-go-lucky. There are moments of crying, of what I call losing it, or, you know, the blaming, the guilt, the this, the that, you know, but we're slowly trying to understand it and to accept it. Because I think we both go back and forth with, you know, how do you accept something that, you know, you hear the baby was fine. It was the membrane that burst, and it's shock. It's a shock.
Yeah, it doesn't make me feel any better to know that the baby was healthy. I mean, that we've talked about this, and it's just like, well, then why did this happen? If the baby's healthy, like we're expecting to hear, you know, oh, you can't have a child, or I don't know, there's something wrong with sperm, or just something wrong with her. I don't know.
Yeah.
And when you don't get that, you're like, well, then what the hell? And that really made us go out of control. But our doctor, he was fantastic. He goes, well, she's doing this and thinking I missed a prenatal pill. You're thinking you didn't, you know, help get her that snack she was craving at 2 a.m. And the doctor said that, well, I didn't examine you enough, or not enough.
Like, almost like we blame ourselves, and then it's like, well, what did I miss? The doctor goes, well, what did I miss? So I felt a little reassurance, because you don't think about it from a doctor's perspective. Like, you're worried about what you think, and I'm worried about how you think, and vice versa.
Yeah.
But we didn't stop to think about, oh, well, what is a doctor? You know, is a doctor thinking this way? But when he said, like, oh, well, you know, I'm looking at you guys. He's pointing at. I'm looking at you guys. You're blaming yourself for this. You're blaming yourself for that. And then it's like, well, what did I miss? And when he said that, it was just kind of like, oh, wow, I didn't even stop to think about that he's thinking this.
Yeah. I think to be clear, like what we have said is just a natural selection, that our body and our bodies are amazing, and there's things they do for a reason. And if there was something wrong that tested and pick up, like, you know, B's body, or, you know, the membrane did what it did for a reason, and we're okay with that. You know, I mean, whatever. Some people look to God. If any of you know us, not our thing, which is great if it's yours, but it just it's fine that it did that, because we don't want to have a baby that's going to have a lot of issues. Nobody wants that. I mean, of course. And once again, we can take acceptance in that, and knowing that, cool, I'm not going to have a child with huge disadvantages or issues.
So going back to the fact that I was just pointing out that I think us talking to each other and letting each other know how we're feeling, without, you know, keeping everything in, and without trying to be snappy, because I think there are couples that it'll break them. You know, you understand?
I know for me that was big, because like the counselor and Bia told me, like, you know, you keep everything in and it's really unhealthy. And she said, you know, if somebody at work says something to you, like, if you feel okay, talk to them about it. And like all the girls I work with, if you're watching this, you know who you are. A lot of them made me very choked up, and it was all very sincere in the hugs. And you know, I don't want to share people's names at work, but there was a couple dudes at work, and they're amazing. And I don't want to say that I didn't expect them to be the person to step up and talk to me, but some of them came through and shared some personal things, and I'm telling you, it has not shaken loose from me, and that has been huge. Because for you guys, for me, it was just like I was nesting, setting up the room, getting things ready, and I was just ready for this child, whether it be a male or female. It didn't matter. I just was ready for this experience of teaching, and like Christmas time, because it's holiday time, of like what it's gonna be like to watch movies with our kid, and the biggest thing stuck in our mind, what they gonna sound like. Anyways, the healing process and where it came from and all these angles and from people was the biggest thing for me, and being open to it, where before I'd be like, oh, I'm cool. I really did. I shared this story repeatedly with a number of people, and I told them some days really sucked, and some days driving into work wasn't too cool. At the same time, it was a good distraction to kind of snap me back to moving forward, because I think that's what we do as guys. We just, all right, what's next, and how do we keep moving,
I think that's important that you brought that up. Just in general, I think, men in general are raised to like keep everything inside and not express emotions and not talk about emotions, where females, even from little, we're taught it's okay to cry, it's okay to, just to show that emotion, and where guys tend to internalize everything because it's like, oh, man up, be the man, or boys don't cry, all those little comments, that our parents might have said when,
Yeah. Well, I can tell you this, no matter how tough whatever dude or female you think you are, I'll tell you what, when you have to go through watching your loved one or being the person to actually give birth to a baby that you know is not going to make it when it comes out, and then having some complications of watching the person you love dearly, which she was reaching a level of bleeding to death, where she was going to have to get moved in and do an emergency surgery if she continued to bleed, it really puts things in perspective in a hurry. Mm-hmm. And I'm really thankful for her sister being there, because at that point, I mean, we were up for 24 hours. Mm-hmm. And I started kind of cracking a little bit, getting pissed and cussing, and then getting sad and crying a little bit, and then getting mad again right away, because I'm like, once again, I thought that they were just going to go in and DNC emergency, like scramble the baby up and suck it out. And they're like, no, you're going to give birth. And I don't know, watching that is still traumatic. I could still smell the hospital, and it's been almost
3 weeks,
3 months. It's I don't know, it sticks. And once again, for me, it was just I could lose my partner. It's I don't know, a big shock, big scare, and a lot of concern.
Yeah. Another thing I think that's helped us with all this is going outside, get some sun. I know it's been raining the last couple, 2 days or whatever, but just going outside to get some fresh air and take a walk, hiking. I mean, I know I can't hike yet, but just going outside, taking the dogs out for a walk just has done wonders on me. Get outside, get the wind to brush your face. It's always a good feeling. Like you mentioned already, you surround yourself with people, positive, uplifting people. I think you going back to work, you started seeing, people come out of their, in a sense, I call it our cubicles, because everybody, we tend to be on autopilot, and we just go to work, and you don't stop to think about what other people are going through.
I knew for me, and I expressed it was hard to look people in the face, and I was like, really knowing how that was going to affect you. But then we were fortunate enough, we were just one of our days out that you were feeling better, and we went shopping for some Christmas stuff, and your coworkers had texted you, we met with them, and it was important for me to see how they interacted with you, because I know that you're in good hands, because I hear you talk about them and how much you love them, how much you care about them, but to see it and to feel it, and then to have them talk with me, and it's not just like, I don't know, you can read people pretty good that they really care, and if they're just kind of running through the motions. And I mean, we've kind of seen it all, where some people you can tell they just don't know what to say.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But that makes me feel a lot comfortable. I know it's going to be hard for her to go to work and see these people that she cares about and relive it again. Like I had to. I've already done a week of work, so that makes it easier on me. But I know that she's in good hands, and that's what's really important. Like I said, a lot.
You?
Absolutely. And for me, everything is now in a better perspective. I mean, like I told you, when I walk the dogs, of course, part of it's a chore, but it's also like I'm enjoying it a lot more. Like I walk a lot slower, and I take other routes, and I just smell the air a lot more, because, I mean, anything can happen to anybody at any moment, and I don't know. This whole experience puts a lot more into perspective.
Yeah. And I think another thing we were kind of talking about with our counselor, what to expect from friends and family, or just people in general. And he went over it. Just some people will know what to say, and then there's other people that might not know what to say or might not even say anything. And we have to be okay with that, because not everybody's comfortable in coming to people that are grieving. Just like any loss, I think, it's hard to say. I guess the advice that I can give that I've taken in is just, I'm sorry, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
Could you agree?
I think the thing is too, like I'm a very sometimes passionate over, I could see things in a wrong light, because if I don't get something what I feel 100%, I could be like, oh, and I've judged some friends, and I've done some things, and I've put work first. I've put work first all the time before my friends, and a lot of people that I'm sure are going to see this, I haven't heard from in a long time, and have reached out and then continue to reach out. It really does. Once again, I go back to perspective. It's like, I got to stop and take more time and tell those people that I care about them, and I hope they're well, and that, because they're there for me, and I do know that if I needed to call them right now, if I was having a rough time, they would be here.
Right.
And I don't know, that's really so important, man. I can't stress that enough, is that, if you have an issue with a family member or friends or something, like, you need to address that and get over it, or like, seriously, because holding on to any kind
We're going on tangents now.
No, but
I do understand what you're saying.
I don't think it's a tangent. I mean, I think that, like, you need a support group around you. So, like, if you're not going to be smart enough to let any form of negativity go and have something like that, it's just not healthy, period.
Okay, so going back to what we were talking about, surrounding yourself with uplifting people and just, accepting people's love for you.
Yeah, like I told you, I've always been like, all right, you don't hug people, or like, I don't know, I'm not a touchy-feely really person, and I don't know, it's just huge. It hurts and it makes me sad. When people hug you and they cry, or it makes me choked up. But it's been a huge keep it on the surface, and it's like let it out. I didn't cry all the time, but it definitely was like talking myself through it. I guess my brain would run through the motions, and I'd have a conversation with myself. Each morning driving into work, knowing that you're here by yourself and you're gonna cry and do your space, and that was a big part of it too. Healing together and then grieving together, and then healing apart and grieving apart.
Yeah.
I had to deal with things my way, and
Yeah.
I mean, once again, because I'm not an emotional mess, but I'm not one to really address these things, which is why I think the counseling is good, because I don't want to keep this inside,
Right.
and I don't want to carry it in. And there will be parts of it obviously I carry into our next pregnancy, but I just don't want to be a mess from it.
Yeah, and too, like, I guess I sit and I'm taken aback because I'm appreciative that you are going to these counseling sessions, with me, because I think a lot of the time that's based on my experiences of people that I've been around, it's the female that wants to, go get counseling. And I mean, I think guys tend to not, maybe they do go to counseling, but they don't talk about it as much, where I think females are more likely to express themselves. But once again, going back to how we're raised and, stuff like that. But, and I commend you again for talking about your point of view, because I think a lot of the times, we go through going through a miscarriage. I think in general, it's like, it's the female that or you tend to assume that it's all the female, but the guy also is grieving. That was his child as well. And so thank you for talking about your point, because I think it doesn't, a lot of the time, like I said, it all goes back to the female, but like I said, it was our baby, and it's not just my baby, you know what I mean? Yeah, so like I said, I'm just going over what I think has helped us in grieving, the counseling, talking to each other openly, not being judgmental, listening to each other, taking time for yourself and for each other. Go outside, get some sunshine. I think that's helped a lot. Surround yourself when you're ready, obviously, with positive, uplifting people. And then also,
I think being realistic. I think that long before we even had the first loss, we knew our age.
Yeah.
We knew of these, of baby losses, miscarriages, and of course, not till the first one hit us did you really read into it and you learn more about it. But like, this is super common, and it's very crazy common. Which B was like, "Hey, do you want to do a video?" And I was like, "I'll share what I'm going through. I don't care if it helps people, because it has been." And I think that's the motivation for me to do this, is that the way people have stepped up and done things to reach out to me, I would honestly just feel like a big prick to not even try to say something. Like, there may be a dude that watches this, it may help him talk to his wife, his fiance, his girlfriend, or a family member, a sister, a cousin, an aunt. I mean, dude, it goes on, as well as, like, I mean, there's some guys I've seen that this has really affected them. And I mean, not that it didn't affect me, but I was kind of
our miscarriage, or their own miscarriage?
Their own miscarriage.
So watching you, in a sense,
me
knowing
seeing them, and if I was to compare, I'm like, wow, this this dude is like really scarred by this. And it kind of scared me, like, well, shit, I hope I don't get like that. I mean, it's kind of scary.
But you knew of their miscarriage before our miscarriages, or it just so happened that they shared. Whoop!
Oh, did it stop? Technical difficulties.
that it stopped. I'm sorry. I was saying that.
No, just like I don't know. The dropping of the camera screwed everything up. But
did they open up to you based on their miscarriage, or knowing that you went through a miscarriage, then they shared?
I can't quite remember exactly the specifics, but it's just the fact that like
people have
this hurts
up.
people. It hurts guys, and it hurts women, and it hurts so many people.
The family,
and it
friends.
just seems so taboo that maybe I feel like people like, oh, there's something wrong with me, and like I don't want to talk about it. Like, dude, there's nothing wrong with you. Like, man, when you read these statistics, I think they're greater than what we think because people don't report it, they don't talk about it, and
like the doctor said, it's the underground society because nobody likes talking about it.
Right. Mm-hmm. You know, and I know it's horrible to say that, but I feel lucky because, you know, you hear about stillborns. I mean, to go 9 months through all this and then to have this happen, like, I can't imagine that. And it's happening to people. I wouldn't know what to say to those people. And, you know, for us, we made it halfway.
Like,
I know, but for me, I'm just saying, that's why I'm a guy, and it's my feelings. I'm sure a lot of this can relate to this. Well, hope that wasn't me. I'm sorry. It sounds really sad and shallow, but it's like, you hope that doesn't happen again. You hope it doesn't go down that road. But I'm just saying in perspective for me to look at it. I'm very thankful if it did happen, it happened this way, and that you're okay and your health's all right, and you know we've been cleared to try again, and there's nothing wrong with this. Those are achievements in my mind right now. Maybe that's my way of coping. You know, is once again to continue on to push on, not take acceptance and look into what we're going through and how you're feeling, because that's the biggest part. You know, I definitely want to make sure you're okay mentally and ready again. We go to proceed down this road.
Right.
We're all over the place.
Yeah,
it's really it's not that it's hard to talk about. It's just it's so much. And
I mean, you can do hours and hours of discussions and
the phone falling down.
And the phone falling down. But not only that, like I said, I want to thank everybody that's, you know, reached out and asked questions because, you know, I wanted to kind of go over, because I know there are people that you want to know what's going on with us and what our plans are in the future. And, you know, we're just taking it a step at a time, just listening to the doctor and kind of going from there.
Yeah, we are okay. And like I said, B started this, and she got a lot of people asking her tons of questions. And she was like, how would you feel about saying something? And to be honest, I was very apprehensive and nervous. But, like, I'm just trying to answer honestly. And if it, like I said, if it helps somebody... to know what to say and or any words or anything that, you know, it'll be okay, no matter what it is. And I don't know. See, once again, I don't have the words for it.
Well, I just hope you guys enjoyed our little video. We wanted, like I said, just to share what's going on with us and what our plans are, and kind of go over what's helped us so far in our grieving and acceptance. But if you guys, like I said, if you guys have any questions, I'm an open book. I think I'm more, I could say I'm ready to answer any of your guys' questions. I'm not, don't think that I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to start crying. I might start crying, but it's a good thing. Don't think you saying something to me or to him is going to be a bad thing. You know, we're very accepting and very appreciative of everybody that sent us messages in every way, shape, and form. So once again, we can't thank you guys all enough. And I hope you guys enjoy and informative as much as we could give you guys information. And we thank you. We thank you all.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye.